kind of gives us the ability to hedge around the fact that other people might be watching the brews, and we've got a lot of different ideas. I probably won't even tell you guys what deck we're playing the day of the tournament just because of that, because a lot of my other teammates like to watch my show, unfortunately. They're also going to be competitors. So I kind of want to just brew like 3 or more really competitive, like, we're like, okay, these 3 could do really solid, and then maybe, you know, have an idea of what I'm going to play, but just not tell you guys and just let it be a surprise, basically. Don't think we need the Jamocha? Okay. I think the asceticism's ambitious, but maybe not. So you liked having the Quill Spike Devoted Druid loop. Okay. 2 Carried? Can maybe get away with that. I like surprises to Spar Trap. Good. 60% of that, it works every time. Alright. Just run Ghostly Prisons. We're gonna brew all this and I'm gonna show up with goblins. It would at least be Rakdos 8-whack, okay? It would at least be Splashing Black, okay? In fairness, if I did brew it without you guys knowing, and did bring it to the tournament, it would at least be Splashing Black and be Rakdos Goblins and run like a Miser Krenko or something sweet. I don't know. Run Green-White Pillow Fort. Doctor says you can cut the whole combo. It just seems cheap. The only truly bad card in it is Quill Spike. Call it to the Nether Void. That's the bring back from the graveyard, right? The only card I really want to bring back is Mir Superior. Because Jeff Hooglin suggested it. The problem with Enduring Ideal is kind of expensive. Last I checked, but maybe it's gone down. 8 tickets? That's not too bad. I just don't think the format's going to be friendly to it. You'd have to build a really, really stock prison deck before you can get this off against the creature decks of the format. And if there's going to be some control decks in the format, you'll need Beseju. How cheap's Bogles? I don't want to play Bogles, but yes, it would be cheap, unfortunately. Casali says, why build a $4 deck for the $100 challenge? I still like Superior quite a bit. Yeah, we had a Rhino Omeless in the first build. Yeah, Siege Rhino, we had one. And Rhino enjoys a little bit of what Doran's doing. We had one for a while, actually. Rhino wasn't good enough? I don't think so either. It wasn't really doing enough in the matches we did get to play around with it. Yeah, I mean, I'd like more cards that turn on the Bosk. That means either main decking the Storyteller or the Wickerbow, or the Colossus, or running some more of these types of cards. You know, like Colossus could be fine in the main deck. We're anticipating there to be, what, black and red removal? Obviously, it's not good against white removal like Path, but we have other tools for that instance. Just build black-white tokens. Just play Abzan Blue with Siege Rhino. The only reason we're 3-color with this deck actually is the fact that Bosk is so cheap and that Birds was only 2 tickets and we're running some Caryatid. I still kind of like the Devoted Druid over the Caryatid because acts like a mono. It simulates the effect of Wall of Roots when it comes to Court of Calling. It's not nearly the same card, but Wall of Roots is about 4 tickets right now. I almost still like these more than the Caryatid. Because we're not running the Worship anymore. Ooze combos with Devoted Druid and Wickerbow. Okay. I see you got some interesting stuff going on here, man. I mean, you literally took the deck and rebrewed it with some interesting tools. I'm not saying you're wrong. I do like the Magus of the Moat. That's super spicy in the sideboard. Because we said we're weak in the air. I remember you must have heard me saying that. Because I did say we're weak in the air. Oh, this doesn't help, excuse me. It's without flying. Never mind. We need to work on that. Because we did play against a couple flying decks. I mean, you can, like, put a bunch of counters on a bird, but that's pretty out there. What you got from your Wombologist? The Bushwhacker deck? Yeah, I mean, this is what we gotta worry about, stuff like this. Turn 3, turn 4 kills. Run Silklash Spider. There's a couple of really nice anti-flying cards out there. This is one of them. Yeah. Another thing we were using was Dramoka. This made us less weak in the air. I mean, this lets us be less weak against a token strat. Like, there might be somebody who wants to bring, like, a Lingering Souls deck. This also kills our bird, but that's cool. The Vengeful Pharaoh will just wreck the Fae. I mean, out of all of your tech, this is the thing I was most interested in trying. I don't like the fact that the Pharaoh goes to the top and we don't have a way to, like, dredge it away. That's where he really shines because you don't have to redraw him. I guess the cool thing is we can just, if we have a Fauna Shaman, it's not so bad. Is that maybe what's going on in your mind? That's not terrible. That's not terrible. These are actually here. With the Temple Garden. That's not terrible. No, I like that. I see what you mean now with the Pharaoh. I don't think I was catching on before, but now I see what you were trying to do. I see what you mean now. If you have a Fauna Shaman, it's not card disadvantage. In fact, it gives us gas every turn guaranteed, doesn't it? It lets us go get the best creature in our deck every turn instead of drawing dead. That's actually really neat. Obviously, only if your opponent attacks into the Pharaoh. That's actually really neat deck building, friend. I like where your mind is at. Excellent work. We might win this just yet. Just run a big game hunter. They do different things. Big game's an interesting idea. They do different things. It's not... We don't think it's going to be an Eldrazi format, but... Yeah, I mean... Right, so you can Fauna Shaman away the big game and you kill something. But then you don't get it back to do it next turn, but yeah. Big game is definitely for different situations. But this is an interesting idea. We'll put it in the pool of cards we're thinking about. This is a 60 right here. And this 60 should do a better job with the what? Let's see, Mirror Entity, Doran, Chameleon, Harbinger. So now we've got 6 cards that are turning on the Bosk. If you guys are wondering why I'm counting the Mirror Entity and the Colossus, Shapeshifters count as tree folk. And this asks you to reveal a tree folk in order to be untapped. We could cut a Wildwood, that frees up a lot of space. I saw that you did that. I mean, I would be willing to cut both Wildwoods and just go with basics if and only if we run something like Jamocha or the Silklash that gives us an edge in the sky. Otherwise, I want it built into the mana base. I just don't want to lose to flyers. Potrap has to play Ambush Viper. We have some other ways to ambush Viper with the Cord. Dauntless Escort can make a combat go awkward or against a Verdict. Verdict's unfortunately cheap, remember? We found that out the hard way. This would be in the board, this would be in the board. So we actually have several sideboard slots. Okay. Dr. says I like keeping the Wildwoods. I mean, I kind of don't want to cut them at all. I'd rather not. I like this main. Why don't we just mess with the sideboard now? Like, we have a big nasty to Cord for 2 that people wouldn't expect. Like, we can ambush people with the Superior. We can also ambush people with Doran. And then we can ambush people with Colossus. Like, we have big creatures to grab on the various different converted mana costs. Heck, we can ambush somebody with a Pharaoh and then it dies. You know? You like this 60, says Brute? Okay. So let's mess with the sideboard. So some of the things that our friend Dark Drew was testing was what? Dark Drew, you were testing some interesting stuff in the sideboard that we weren't, like Rhetoric. Do you prefer Eidolon of Rhetoric to Canonist? You were also testing the Revoker. What about the Majesty of the mode? Is that worth it? You liked the Pulse of Marasa plus... Where is it? You're not running it. Pulse of Marasa is really only super sweet if you're going to run Eternal Witness, in my opinion. Not that you're wrong. You're not wrong. That doesn't make you wrong, but... Can't be bolted, that's why it's better. That's true. That's true. I mean, if we're so sure there's going to be some combo, we might even want to split Canonist and Eidolon. Because that way we'd have something to Cord on for 1 and 2. We might want to split, like we might want multiple. Kataki, Firewalker, Storyteller, Elder, Revoker, Dauntless. So what are we looking at? Creature-wise, Tuturables. We're looking at 8. Pulses basically gain 6. Let's see if Moto will finally let me give you those 5 ticks. Oh, thanks, Retribution. Doctor says I'm not running the Witness. Oh, baby. That's a brew. So, go infinite mana with the Banefire. This seems sweet. Huh. I'm fine with infinite mana into Banefire. That's kind of a funny way to finish someone off. Yep, Retract. Retract is sweet. Criminally underrated. It's only half a ticket on Moto. There's a lot of busted things you can do with said, will I expect a Dredge type deck? Yes. We're actually anticipating Living End. We anticipate somebody's going to build... Okay, so if I was not to break down the metagame via... Hang on, let me write it down. If I was to not try to guess what my specific compatriots... Dude, thanks so much. Alright, so I'm guessing there's going to be like a Goblins deck, either 8-wax style or just Goblins. I'm assuming there's going to be a Fey deck now, because it's actually relatively budget. I'm assuming there's going to be... Dude, thanks for the 5 tickets, man. Holy hell. Thanks so much. Retribution. Dude, thanks for the 5 tickets, man. That puts us closer to the gifts deck. Dude. Thank you. Yeah, we're thinking about Goblins. I'm going to do a little checklist. That way, each deck we build, we'll put check marks that we've kind of figured that we're anticipating Living End. I'm anticipating just like blue-white control. It's actually not too expensive, unfortunately. Eggs, maybe. Maybe a budget affinity. There's going to be somebody on Burn. I'm going to put that in the same category as Goblins. A lot of the same cards will work there. Not always. They're not the same deck, of course. I feel like 8-wax guarantee.